Have you ever wondered how we talk about a time so ancient, we don't even have written records for it? I mean, we're talking millions of years ago. Well, archaeologists, the detectives of the past, have come up with a system. It's all about stones and a bit of Greek. Let's dive in. First up, we have the Paleolithic period. Say it with me. PA-LAE-AE. It sounds complicated, but it's actually pretty simple. It comes from two Greek words. Paleo, which means old, and lithos, which means stone. So, Paleolithic literally means Old Stone Age. This name is a huge clue, because it tells us that stone tools were the cutting-edge technology of the day. Now, hold on to your hats, because the time frame for this period is mind-boggling. The Paleolithic period started around 2 million years ago, and lasted all the way until about 12,000 years ago. Just think about that. That single period covers 99% of all human history. 99%. Everything we usually think of as history. The pyramids, the Roman Empire, all of it's just the tiny 1% at the very end. Because this period is so incredibly long, archaeologists break it down even further. They divide the Paleolithic into 3 sub-periods: the lower, the middle, and the upper Paleolithic. Think of it like seasons in a very, very, very long year. Each part had its own unique developments in tool making and how early humans lived. The tools from the lower Paleolithic were often simple, chunky hand axes, while tools from the upper Paleolithic became much more refined and specialized. It shows a clear progression of skill and intelligence over hundreds of thousands of years. So, what happened after this immense Old Stone Age? Around 12,000 years ago, the world started to change. The last ice age was ending. Glaciers were retreating, and climates were getting warmer and wetter. This major environmental shift marks the beginning of a new chapter in human history, the Mesolithic period. Again, let's look at the name. Meso is Greek for middle. So, Mesolithic means Middle Stone Age. This was a transitional period, lasting from about 12,000 to 10,000 years ago. It was a time of adaptation. As the big game animals of the Ice Age disappeared, people had to get clever. They started hunting smaller game, fishing more, and gathering a wider variety of plants. And their tools changed too. The hallmark of the Mesolithic period is a type of tool called a micro means tiny, so these were tiny stone tools. We're talking small, sharp blades of stone, sometimes just a centimeter or two long. Now, you might be wondering, what could you possibly do with such a tiny piece of stone? Well, they weren't used on their own. The real genius was how they were combined. People would take these microliths and stick them onto handles made of bone or wood. By arranging them in a row, they could create the first composite tools, like sharp saws for cutting wood, or sickles for harvesting wild grasses. It was a revolutionary invention. At the same time, they didn't just throw away the old ways. Older, larger types of tools from the Paleolithic era were still used right alongside these new microliths. It was a mix of old and new, a perfect reflection of a world in transition. After the Middle Stone Age, things started to get really interesting. Around 10,000 years ago, another major shift happened, leading us into the next stage, the Neolithic period. Now, based on what we've learned, can you guess what Neolithic means? If Paleo is old and Meso is middle, then Neo must be ... new. That's right. Neolithic means New Stone Age. This is the period where we see the dawn of farming, the domestication of animals, and the beginning of settled villages. It was a complete transformation of human society, setting the stage for the world we live in today. We'll be taking a much deeper look into the incredible changes of the Neolithic period in a future video, so make sure you're subscribed for that. One last thing to think about. We've mentioned all these periods, but what about the places? When archaeologists find a site, they often give it a name. But here's the catch. We almost always use the modern-day names for these locations. We talk about finds in France, or caves in Spain. Why? simply because we have no idea what the people who lived there millions or thousands of years ago actually called their homes. Their languages are lost to time. So, we use our own maps to navigate their ancient world. It's a little reminder that as much as we uncover, there are some mysteries that will likely remain forever. So, there you have it. A quick journey through 99% of human history, from the Old Stone Age through the Middle Stone Age, and to the dawn of the New. It's a story told not in words, but in stones. Thanks so much for watching. If you found this journey into the deep past fascinating, hit that like button and subscribe for more adventures into history. See you next time.